Hello, are you here to debate?
Yes.
All right, what's your name, age, and pronouns?
Name is Aubrey, 27. I'm him. And he, him.
Aubrey, 27, he, him. Okay. What do you disagree with on the board?
The point, the Christian God is evil.
Did you miss what I just said? Like right before I opened the call in line
Well,
again?
I mean, no. I've been trying to call, and it's just been sending me to the voicemail, so I've had to dip in and out of the conversations.
All right. Unfortunately, that's the only topic I've been debating today, so the topic's no longer. I want to talk about other things.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
I've just spent the
All
last
right.
2
I
hours
thought I had
debating
something
like
good for you.
solely that topic.
I hate the different, I guess the quality of conversation on that topic too. I'm so bad that I couldn't get into it. Dang.
Yeah, maybe it'll be back on the list tomorrow.
Cool. All right, man. Thanks.
All right, no problem. I just don't want to talk about that anymore. It's just talking about it all day. They not like us. They not like us. Hello, are you here to debate?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, what's your name, age, pronouns?
Uncle Sarah, male, 35.
I'm sorry, say the name again.
Uncle Sarah. And just call me Unc.
Unc, and you said 35, and what were your pronouns?
I'm a guy.
Yeah, but what are your pronouns?
Male, I guess.
Your pronouns are male?
You sure? Yeah, I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you saying like what I prefer to be called?
What third person pronouns do you go by when people refer to you in the third person?
He.
Oh, there we go. Okay, what did you disagree with on the board?
The abortion thing. Obviously, it's poor choice. I like abortion, so.
Okay, why not?
Well, it's wrong, just on a human sense. You really shouldn't judge who gets to live and who shouldn't. If that makes any sense.
Why is abortion wrong?
Let me specify. How do I put this? We have laws about, us not killing one another. If that makes any sense, right? You can't just murder your neighbor. You can't murder, a person who is just out on the street, but it's okay to murder kids.
Thank you, Boo.
Okay, you think abortion's wrong because legally it's wrong.
No, not legally. I'm saying we as a society create laws, right? To stop bad things from happening to one another. We defend the innocent, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure from your last discussion you were having that, God is evil because of the evil things that he did to innocent people. Do we not consider children a part of that group of innocent people?
I don't consider fetuses children.
Sure, and that's fine. But they are. Now, if the argument is whether or not a fetus is a child, that's just a discussion as to what makes a person a person. So like a sleeping person is still a person. A person who, gets into an accident, falls into a coma is still a person.
I don't think fetuses are persons yet. No. So I'll just walk you through. I believe that when it comes to abortion, that anybody who is pregnant, no matter the stage of the pregnancy, still has a total right to their bodily autonomy. And if their body is being used by anything, they can remove that thing from their body at any time. If that thing is sentient, I would say you must remove it in nonviolent means if possible. If that thing is non-sentient, remove it however you want. So prior to 24 weeks, fetuses are not sentient, so remove it however you want. Whatever you want to do. It doesn't really matter. They don't have moral consideration.
So what is sentience to you then? Like, what are you saying?
Sentience would be subjective human experience.
So you're saying without human experience, a thing is not sentient.
Yeah, without
enough
experience,
human
yes.
experience.
Yes, without the ability to experience, you're not sentient.
Mm-hmm. So a child who's just born and doesn't have the ability, he doesn't have object permanence, isn't sentient.
Object permanence doesn't mean you can't experience. It just means you don't have object permanence. You gain the capacity for sentience as a human at around 24 weeks, give or take. There's obviously some wiggle room. Some studies will say 21 to 24 really, but generally speaking, around the 24th week is when that really solidifies. After that point, you have that capacity for sentience until complete and total brain death. So I would...
Gotcha.
Object permanence doesn't mean you don't have sentience. It just means you don't have object permanence.
Gotcha. And let me see, just so I'm understanding you. So you're saying that the building up of experience, or the capacity to build up experience, is the thing that makes a person human.
The capacity to
build up that experience.
Yeah, the capacity to deploy that sentient experience is when I would grant you moral consideration. Moral consideration means that, we're just considering you in moral cases.
I got you. You're not taking into account the fact that this thing will be a person? That doesn't matter at all?
No, potential isn't important in the argument because you can take potential back as far as I want it to. Like, it's just, potential is so arbitrary, it doesn't tell us anything. I also am not going to treat something like what it will become. I'm going to treat something like what it is.
Interesting. So hold on. Okay, so the fact that then why is it wrong to kill a child then? What's the difference? I don't understand. Because you're basically
the reason
saying
it would be wrong to kill a child is because they're sentient. It's wrong to, in my opinion, it's wrong to kill any sentient human if they are not violating your rights.
It's not the same sort of sentience, though. We can all agree that a child is not as intelligent as an adult.
But wait, I've already addressed this. This is why I talk about capacity for sentience. Sentience isn't something that we can measure. So we just look at whether they have the capacity. So as long as an organism has that capacity, whether that capacity is engaged or currently deployed or not. So like a 24-week fetus has the capacity because the parts needed to engage in sentience have developed at that point. They might not be deploying it. And you could have a temporary state where you're not deploying it, but you still have the capacity. Prior to 24 weeks, they don't even have that capacity because those parts haven't developed yet.
How do you know? I mean, how do you know that they don't have that capacity? How are you measuring that?
Sentience is measured in is measured via a couple of different things in the body. Oop, my fucking pen died. First and foremost, it's going to be neural development. So we go through 8 stages of maturity in our neural development when we are in the womb. The 8th stage is when you're going to match up with the same neural development as like a living, breathing, grown person. We're going to look at the mass of neurons. So I think it's.
I'm sorry. Can we pause
sure,
1 second?
Sure.
Did you say that? So you said that a child in the womb at the amount of time that you named has the same neural activity as an adult? I'm just trying to understand.
The maturation, like so, the maturity of their neurons. Your neurons go through 8 stages of maturity in the womb, and it hits that 8th stage at around 24 weeks.
Okay.
Then it's going to be at the mass of neurons. So you need a specific amount of neurons in the brain to deploy sentience. That's going to hit about that stage at around 24 weeks, give or take. And then it's going to be about whether or not you have brain function that is akin to positive outcomes. So it's going to be like brain function that is similar to brain function of like when we measure sentient people's brain waves. Like, right, we can see those brain waves, and we can see like whether or not those brain waves are similar to each other or not. So those are a couple of the things that are going to be needed to deploy sentience. There's more things like you need your sense organs to link up to your Jesus, what is it called? I haven't actually debated abortion in so long that I'm forgetting words that I used to know all the time. You need the nociceptors under your skin to form so that you can actually feel sensation. And then, like I said, the sense organs need to line up with your thalamocortical. Your sense organs need to line up with your thalamocortical connections in your brain so that you can actually experience using your sense organs. And once all of those things happen, and remember this happens around 21 to 24 weeks. 24 weeks is what we see is typical. Once it's hit that point, then I would say you're sentient, or you have the capacity for sentience. And now that you have that capacity, I'm going to grant you moral consideration until that capacity is permanently gone, which would be brain death.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
I think the primary issue with that argument is basically the assumption that our ability to measure these things are infallible, right? Because I'm assuming that you're not going to disagree that the day before this thing gains sentience, and there's no wiggle room, right? For you yourself said about 24 weeks.
Yeah, but we can just do a fetal brain scan and see if these things are there, right?
Do people do these fetal? Are people doing these fetal?
No, because typically at 20 to 24 weeks, you don't have an abortion. It's not really what's typical. Most abortions that happen at that time frame are done for medical reasons. So you need to have an abortion because medically you want to survive. So like,
gotcha.
Yeah. That's why we don't typically do it. There's no reason to. But I'm saying, like, in a perfect world, I would allow abortions up till this point. Past this point, I would say you can still have an abortion. It just has to be we would want the abortion to be non-lethal. And if it can't be non-lethal for whatever reason, then, you know, it's up to the person who's pregnant what they want to do.
I got you. So I don't think we'll agree on that point, but there's
based on what you haven't provided a counter argument.
Because you're saying that you don't give moral consideration to things that don't have sentience.
Well, yeah, we shouldn't give moral consideration to non-sentient things. Yeah.
And the thing that I'm going to argue is that a person is a person throughout its entire life cycle.
Sure. Why should just being a person grant you moral consideration?
Because we as humans grant one another. We're not animals. We grant each other moral consideration.
But why?
No matter our station. If I'm a genius and you're an idiot, I don't have a right to kill you, right?
Yeah, but again, my question is, why does being a person grant? You're just saying that it does, right? It's just a circle. You say because you're a person, you get moral consideration. But then when I ask you the why, you can't bridge that gap.
Oh no, it's not. It's not that I can't. I mean,
okay,
we
so
give each other more consideration because we depend on each other for society. I mean, what you're saying is correct. There's no reason for me not to go out and just kill people, right? There's nothing to stop it. There's no. I'm not a religious person, so I'm not saying that there's some cost outside of our.
What are you talking about? Moral consideration doesn't necessarily mean like you take this away, you can kill someone. It just means when I'm faced with a situation where I have two moral agents, one of those moral agents is going to take moral consideration over the other. And in this case, it would be the pregnant person over the fetus.
So you're saying it's more important that this pregnant person gets to do what they want with this child than this child has right to live, is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is when I'm faced with a situation where there are two people and one of those, and there's a conflict where one of those two people may die, we have to grant moral consideration to one of the, like, this is just like basic philosophy, like in just like basic philosophy when we're looking at moral consideration. So in an instance where I have a pregnant person, I'm going to say for a litany of reasons, because it's their body, because they have sentience already, because they have the human right to bodily autonomy, because all of these things exist, I would say I'm going to grant more consideration to them over a creature that is not sentient, over a creature that is using their body expressly without their consent. I'm going to say all of that is what grants this person more consideration over the fetus every time.
I get you there. So I have a question. And that's because that's something else that I watch him call. So you're saying that you I think you said the fetus is using the woman's body without her consent?
Yep.
Was this person raped?
Not in this example.
How did the child get there?
Okay, I'm worried you might not know what consent is. So
consent. I know what you mean by consent.
I don't think you do, because you wouldn't have asked that question if you did. So let me just walk you through something really quickly. When it comes to consent, consent has to be an ongoing thing. Ongoing. Consent is ongoing.
I absolutely disagree.
You disagree that consent must be ongoing.
If I get into a legal thing with someone, let's say I'm going to rent this property from you for this period of time, and then I say, well, I no longer can consent to this agreement. I made the agreement. I have to stand by that agreement.
So we're not talking about contracts here. We're just talking about the base understanding of consent. Contracts are different because you agree to the terms of the contract, and typically every contract is going to have clauses where you can get yourself out of that contract.
Which is the reason why I asked about rape.
Hold on.
Sorry.
So when I sign a contract to rent a home, if you look in your rental agreement, there are going to be stipulations for how you can get out of your lease, because you can revoke your consent to living there. Consent has to be ongoing. For instance, if I'm having sex with someone, they have to consent throughout the entire time we have sex. If at any point they change their mind, I have to stop because they've stopped consenting.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is that in the legal contract instance, just using it as an example, there are some stipulations, meaning there has to be certain instances where it is okay to break that contract, correct?
Otherwise, in legal contracts, there will always be clauses to let you out of the legal contract. Okay. We're not talking about legal contracts here.
I understand that we're not, but I believe it's the same sort of.
No, the reason there are clauses in legal contracts is because they're different. So they have to put the clauses in. That's why legal contracts are a different breed.
If I, as a parent, decide that I no longer want my child, right? I don't have the right to kill that child because of the reasons that you stated earlier. If I, as a woman, get pregnant and I'm a part of that agreement, I lay with the person, I get pregnant, you're basically saying that they are free from any sort of, there's no other consideration besides that person no longer wants to be a part of that. The father doesn't matter. The fact that
why would the father matter?
Will be a child eventually matters.
Why would that matter? Sorry. Why would those things matter? If somebody is pregnant, right?
Firstly,
if they're carrying child, hold on. Their body is the one going through 40 weeks of change. Their body, they are the one doing the labor. Why does the father get to decide what they can do with their body?
I'll give you a great reason, because let's look at it on the other side. Let's say the woman decides to have the child. Let's say she takes it all the way to the father will be held responsible for that child.
You can sign away your parental rights
in the capacity. I'm sorry.
In most states, you can sign away your parental rights.
Sure.
What does this have to do with anything?
The father will still be held responsible. That is his
Not if
child.
You sign away your parental rights.
If
you sign away your parental rights, you're not responsible for anything. You've signed away all your rights.
What I'm saying is this. This child is a two-person operation. It doesn't happen from one person. So one person can't have all the rights to this child.
It's not the rights to the child.
I understand.
Wait, this is the problem. This is the thing that. Wait, no, but you're misrepresenting the argument.
I understand that the mother has more responsibility when it comes to the formulation of the child. But this is a two-person thing. This is not a one-person thing.
So let me just confirm. You think that nobody should be allowed to have an abortion without the express consent of the father? No woman should get
absolutely.
Okay, so if that father raped her, right? Now she can't get rid of her rapist baby.
Agreement. So that was a crime. That was a crime.
Oh, okay. How do you prove this? You
already said.
How many? Wait, really quickly. What percentage of rapes are proven?
You already said. And that's why I asked initially. I said, "Was this rape?" Because this would be a completely different conversation.
How do you wait? This wasn't rape. You're making a claim of a way we should. Hold on, stop. You're making a claim for how we should do this legally, right? So I'm asking you how we do this legally, right? You're saying, well, I believe that if it's a consensual sexual encounter, then the woman shouldn't lose the rights to her body. And the right should have to be.
No, we're not.
I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking.
Okay.
If you can't make a decision about your body without another person's consent, that is losing the rights to your body. You no longer have the right to your body because you can't do anything without another person's consent. So we'll put a pin in that right there. Second of all, what you're saying is if it was unconsensual, then she doesn't need the person's consent to do it. But how do you prove that it was unconsensual when like 40% of rape goes even goes undocumented? And most rapes, I think it's like what, 1% of rape gets charged and tried. So
you said 40% of rape. You said 40% of rape
goes unreported.
Is unreported.
Unreported.
How do you know that? How do you know that? It was unreported. What are you talking about?
Because we have stats on this.
If it's unreported, how are there stats? What?
Unreported just means it's not reported to the police.
You're saying we're just making up the number.
Unreported just means it's not reported to the police. It doesn't mean that person hasn't come forward about it. It means it wasn't reported to the police. They're not reporting it. They may just be telling someone that they were raped. They're not reporting it.
So then how do you know these things? How do you know these rapes are happening then?
Because they're telling us that they were raped. They just didn't report them to the police.
Where are these stats coming from?
Holy shit.
Who's this being reported to?
Is this a joke?
No, I'm dead serious.
This fucking rape apology is crazy, bro. We have multiple things. There are rape hotlines. There are crisis centers. There are fucking they might go to the doctor and not report it, but still go to the doctor and not report it to the police. Reporting something to the police is different from just telling somebody that you've done something.
I'm just trying to understand where you're getting your numbers from. So are we reporting on the number of rape kits used in a particular year? Like where are you getting your 40% from? That's what I'm curious about. I'm not saying that this may not be true. I'm saying where are you getting your stat from? You said 40% unreported. Where are you getting that from?
Yeah. Actually, I was wrong. It's 63%. Rape is the most underreported crime. This is from the National Sexual Violence Resource Center. Rape is the most underreported crime. 63% of sexual assaults are not reported to police.
And where are they getting that from? Like what is that number
go to the NSVRC and look at the stats.
You said NSVRC.
What? Ain't no way, bro.
Anyway, it's fine. So you're basically saying that you're moving this over to rape. Let's not use rape.
Well, no, we have to.
You were like,
because your logic. No, stop. Hold on. Your logic has to be consistent.
That we were referring to does not deal with rape.
Your logic has to be consistent all the way through. If your logic is not consistent all the way through, it doesn't work. You can't go, well, my logic is consistent unless I move the goalpost and we get rid of this thing that does happen.
No. We're not talking about moving the goalpost. I asked you initially. I said, are we talking about rape?
Sure, we're talking about both. We're talking about both. We're talking about situations of both where you are raped or where you're not raped.
Let's not move the goalpost.
That's not what moving the goalpost is. You don't know what you're talking about.
Let's stick on this consensual.
You don't know how to do this. This is so. Stop talking. I need you to stop talking. I need you to understand something. And I need every person listening to understand something when it comes to debating, when it comes to providing an argument. The argument you laid out and the claim that you made was if you have sex, or let me rephrase it, if you are pregnant, then the only way you should be able to have an abortion is if both the mother and the father agree to it. Do you believe that was your claim? Do I need to play the tape back? 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 I will play the tape back.
Please do.
Sure, let's play the tape back.
What I said was, you asked me.
No fucking way.
You said, your question was,
Stop talking now.
Do you think the father...
Stop talking now.
Okay.
Because now we're going to play back the tape. When I said, do you think that the father has to consent for them to have an abortion? And you literally said, yes, they do.
I said yes.
Can't believe
yeah, I do. I did.
So when I just said that you believe that if someone is pregnant, both the mother and father must consent to have an abortion, that wasn't a lie. You did say that. Are we joking now?
Yes, I did. Yes,
okay,
yes.
So then why the fuck did we just go on a fucking tirade of you going, I didn't say that, when you just admitted that you said that?
You said the thing that you accused me of saying.
Unbelievable.
Was that...
Yeah, you believe that if somebody is pregnant, they should not be able to have an abortion unless both the mother and the father agree to it. You believe this.
If you get a chance, can you set me on something on calendar? Yeah, I want to give Alfred one.
Homie's at work. Unbelievable. Do you believe this? Yes or no?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Do you believe that if a woman is pregnant?
Also, hey, let me pause you for a second. Just as an aside, I enjoy what you do, and I'm actually having a good conversation. I don't mean to get aggressive or anything like that. Just as a whatchamacallit. It's a good debate,
Okay. Gonna ask you a question.
Not trying to set you or anything like that.
Gonna just ask you a question again.
But go ahead.
Okay. Do you believe
Go ahead.
that if a woman is pregnant, she should only be able to have an abortion if both her and the father agree to it?
Yes.
Right. So how do you account for this in cases of rape?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about it.
It's because you can't.
I don't have an
because
answer.
you cannot.
You're absolutely correct.
If we ended up going with this, no, actually no, I don't want you to finish. No, I don't want you to finish.
I think it's important. I think it's important.
I said I don't want you to finish. Okay. What I want to point out here is you've said that I believe this is how we should do things, and the way you believe how we should do things would account for rapists being able to control whether or not women have their babies or not. And there is no way to not account for this in the system, because rape is historically hard to prove, and unless you have video or photo evidence, and it's underreported.
So what you're basically saying is that this person raped this woman. I'm just trying to get into this person raped this woman, and then they're coming to the hospital and demanding that the woman doesn't get an abortion. This is what we're thinking is happening. This person just committed a crime against somebody.
I'm sorry. You don't think
you're saying that this rapist? You're saying this rapist is coming to the hospital to
who are people? Who are women? Just real quick, who are women raped by the most?
I'm assuming a partner.
It's going to be close friends or partners. So if you have, for instance, a woman who's married, right, and she's in an abusive relationship, and she's habitually raped by her husband, right?
Gotcha.
And she finds out she gets pregnant. Now she's going to have something where she's tied to that person for the rest of her life. She might even be trying to leave, but can't now because now she's pregnant. But if she wants an abortion and she goes to the doctor and says, I need an abortion, they're going to say, based on what you want in the world, well, you need to get the father's permission. We need the father's written consent to have this abortion. Now she has to go to the person that's been habitually raping her and say, what? Hey, can you sign this abortion thing? And what if he says no? Now she's fucked.
Would it be difficult for us to add some sort of caveat that says that in instances where a woman reports it as rape, it wouldn't be an issue?
Yes, because why couldn't just every woman? Yeah, because just every woman would just report it. Every woman that wants an abortion would just say they were raped.
That's fine, absolutely. And
so then your law,
so it's cool.
So your law has no bearing now.
Falsely reporting.
How do you? But homie, I swear to God, women need to stay the fuck away from you. This is fucking nutty right now. How does she prove her husband has been habitually raping her? How does she prove this? This is why I'm saying rape is very hard to prove, and it's why it's a crime that not a lot of people go to fucking prison for. How does she prove this?
Let me make sure I'm understanding you. Because you got annoyed with me earlier when I was saying, how are we proving these rapes? That's what I asked you initially. The reason why I asked that is because I'm trying to say, what sort of data are we using to confirm that these things are happening? So on the one hand, you're telling me these things are happening. I agree with you. I absolutely think a lot of people get raped. But then you're also saying there's no way for her to prove this.
There is a difference.
In this particular instance that we're talking about, she's done nothing.
I hope
she hasn't reported to the cops.
Every woman in the world stays the fuck away from you. There is a difference between whether or not we can prove it in a court of law or whether or not we just take the word of a woman who was raped. So if a woman shows up at a shelter and she's like, oh, hi, I was raped. And, a rape kit's not done, so you can't prove it now. It's going to be really hard to prove legally. That doesn't mean she wasn't still raped. There's a difference between proving something legally and not. But in your case, because we would be implementing some sort of law, you'd have to prove it legally. Otherwise, everyone could just lie. Now we have an instance where it's hard to prove things legally. Now what do we do?
You do the best that you can, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous. Yo, shout out to Romy. Shout out to Romy for the pay to kick. Romy, thank you. Unfucking believable, dude. Unbelievable, honestly. So fucking ridiculous. Bro, men, get your shit together, dude. Honestly, get it together. You shouldn't be able to have an abortion unless both parties agree. Just gonna have fucking people getting rapists being able to control what the fuck women like. Also, thank you to Cody for the $3 Venmo. And thank you to Carmela for the $10 Cash App. Thank you guys so much. It's just so stupid, dude. I don't... It's literally giving rapists a pass. Quite literally.
Thank you, Boo.